The question is, if you have 30 grams of CO2, then how many moles of C2H6 will be produced? Let's start with underlining numbers and units. 30 grams of CO2 leads to how many moles of C2H6? We're going to start our conversion with our numbers and units. 30 grams of CO2. We're going to end it with the units that have no number. Moles of C2H6. Let's draw in the lines to start the conversions. How many conversions are we doing? Let's check our conversion map. Right here, the grams of A is representing the grams of CO2. And the moles of C2H6 is the moles of B. Let's write out our diagram, just the part we looked at. We're starting off at grams of A. Then we're going to moles of A. Next, we're going to moles of B. The moles of B are representing the moles of C2H6. How many conversions do we have? How many arrows do we have? 1, 2. 2 arrows, 2 conversions. This will be our first conversion. This will be our second conversion. What is our first conversion? Our first conversion is going from grams of A to moles of A. This is using the molar mass. So we're going to have some kind of ratio of grams per mole or moles per gram, either way. Let's set up the units first. Our answer doesn't have grams, but we start with grams. So we want to cross out the grams. And we want to have left moles because our answer has moles. So where do we get information about grams per mole? The numbers? We go to the periodic table. Here in the periodic table, we have carbon and oxygen, which are both a part of CO2. So let's total up the molar mass. C equals the molar mass of 12 approximately, and O equals the molar mass of 16 approximately. And we have 2 oxygens, so we got to multiply our oxygens by 2. So we're going to be left with 12. 16 times 2 is 32. And we're going to add those together down this way. 2 plus 2 is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. 44. And this is going to be 44 grams per mole. So we're going to add that in here. Because this 44 is next to the grams, we're going to add this 44 next to the grams per 1 mole. It's always 1 mole. What is our next conversion? Our next conversion goes from moles of A to moles of B. So we have the moles of CO2 left, but we want moles of C2H6 in our answer. We have the moles set up, so all we need to do is change the chemical. Therefore, we're going to cross out CO2 by putting it on the bottom and put C2H6 on top. Where do we get the numbers for these? The numbers are in the chemical equation because this is the mole ratio, or what they say, the coefficient of A divided by the coefficient of B, or vice versa. So we find this in the chemical equation. In front of our CO2 is 4. So we're going to put 4 in front of our CO2. In front of our C2H6 is 2. So we're going to put 2 in front of our C2H6. Let's compare our units. We have moles of C2H6 left in our conversion, and that's the same one we have in our answer, moles of C2H6. Perfect. Now we can calculate. We're going to do 30 times 1 divided by 44 times 2 divided by 4. 30 times 1 divided by 44 times 2 divided by 4. Notice I'm pressing enter between all of those. It helps separate and simplify it in the calculator. The number we're getting is approximately 0.34 moles of C2H6. That'll be your complete final answer.